Our first question is a flashing yellow light indicates that you must. Our options are stop, B, slow down, and C, maintain a constant speed. So our answer is option B, slow down. You must slow down and proceed with caution. And our next question is you are driving behind a group of motorcycles in staggered formation. What must you do to safely pass them? So our options are merge into the middle of the group, respect the group formation, and C is merge between two motorcycles. Our answer is respect the group formation. Motorcyclists traveling in groups adopt a staggered formation for better safety. Drivers must respect the formation and not merge into it. Our next question is, according to road safety research, what influence does the family environment have on driving behavior? Our options are great influence, no influence, and C is a slight influence. And the answer is great influence. Family environment is the main influence on the behavior of young drivers from 15 to 25 and on their risk of being involved in an accident long before they are of an age to drive. Young passengers observe and assimilate their parents' conduct behind the wheel, style of driving, attitudes, values, and emotional reaction in various situations. And our next question is, if you are convicted of a refusal to submit to a breathalyzer test or to provide a blood sample, our options are A, you will only be authorized to drive during the day. Option B, you will only be authorized to drive for work-related purposes. Option C, your driver's license will be revoked. Our answer is option C, your driver's license will be revoked. The license of a person convicted of a refusal to submit to a breathalyzer test or to provide a blood sample is revoked. And our next question is, you want to make a right turn from lane 9. Which lane must you enter once you have completed the turn? Here's one thing I want to tell you, that you can only make a right turn or go straight if you are in lane 9. So our options are option A, you can go to the lane H, option B, lane G, and option C is lane F. So for this question, our answer is option G. The driver must advance in a straight lane or to the point where the road meets and enter the left lane. Our next question is, you have parked your vehicle and are preparing to get out. Choose the things to do. First is engage the parking brake. Second is do visual checks. Third, open then lock your door. And our options are option A 1, 2, 3, and option B is 2 and 3. Option C is 3, and option D is 1 and 2. For this question, our answer is first, second, and third. Don't forget your visual checks. Our next question is, you are driving behind a heavy vehicle and maintaining 2 seconds distance behind it. Is this enough? Option A is no, this is not enough. B is yes, only if the pavement is dry. Option C, yes, the 2-second rule is valid in all circumstances. Option D, yes, unless visibility is poor. So for this, our correct answer is option A, no, this is not enough because of their substantial weight. Heavy vehicle need more room to stop. Increase your distance when driving behind a heavy vehicle. Our next question is, when can you travel in the left lane on a highway? Our options are option A, when the lane is free of traffic. Option B, when passing another vehicle. Option C, whenever you want. And our correct answer is option B, when passing another vehicle. On a highway, the far left lane is used to pass other vehicles, to avoid obstacles, or to enter an off-ramp. Our next question is, you are about to leave your property when you see an oncoming cyclist who has the right of way, and our options are option A, there is no right of way in this case. Option B, you. And option C, the cyclist. And the correct answer is option C, the cyclist. The cyclist has the right of way when leaving private property to enter a public road. You must yield the right of way to cyclists and all vehicles on the public road. Our next question is, if you are convicted of a refusal to submit to a breathalyzer test or to provide a blood sample, our options are option A, you will only be authorized to drive during the day. Your driver's license will be revoked. Option C, you will only be authorized to drive for work-related purposes. And the correct answer is your driver's license will be revoked. The license of a person convicted of a refusal to submit to a breathalyzer test or to provide a blood sample is revoked. Our next question is, your sister just got her class 5 learner's license and you have had your driver's license for a year. Are you allowed to serve as an accompanying rider when she is practicing on the roadway? And our options are no. You must have acquired 24 months of driving experience. Option B, yes, provided you stay very careful and patient. Option C, yes, with 12 months of driving experience, you can serve as an accompanying rider. And the correct answer is no. You must have acquired 24 months of driving experience. The learner must be accompanied by a person who has held a valid license to drive a passenger vehicle for at least 24 months. And our next question is, which driver has entered the correct lane before and after turning? So in these pictures, we have to tell the which picture is correct and which driver is entered the correct lane. So the correct answer is picture 1. In this situation, the driver in the designated right turn lane must enter the far right lane of the other roadway. Our next question is, at what distance from a school bus whose flashing lights are in operation must you stop your vehicle? And our options are at least 5 meters, option B is 1 meter or less, option C is 3 meters or less. And our correct answer is at least 5 meters. You must stop at least 5 meters from a vehicle used to carry school children if it has its flashing lights in operation or its mandatory stop sign is extended. Our next question is, no driver may pass another vehicle by using the lane reserved for traffic moving in the opposite direction. Our options are option A, alongside a bicycle path, option B, in or when approaching a pedestrian crosswalk identified as such, and option C is in a 50-kilometer zone. And our correct answer is option B, in or when approaching a pedestrian crosswalk identified as such. Using the lane reserved for traffic moving in the opposite direction to pass another vehicle is prohibited in or when approaching a pedestrian crosswalk identified as such. Our next question is, when driving at night, you switch from high beams to low beams when the oncoming vehicle is at less than. Our options are 50 meters, option B 100 meters, option C 150 meters. Our correct answer is option C 150 meters. You must switch to low beams at less than 150 meters to avoid blinding the other driver. Our next question is it risk-free for persons whose faculties are impaired to sleep in their automobile? And our options are option A, yes, if they sleep on the passenger side. Option B, yes, if the keys are not in the ignition switch. Option C, no. And option D, yes, if they sleep less than an hour. And our answer is option C, no. Leaving a vehicle in the care or control of a person whose faculties are impaired is severely punished under the Criminal Code and the Highway Safety Code. There is no clear guideline as to what is allowed or not. Since each situation is different and considered individually, the important thing is not to take any risk and to stay away from the vehicle when one's faculties are impaired. And our next question is, what is the minimum speed limit on a highway? Our options are 70 km per hour, option B is 60 km per hour, option C is 80 km per hour. And our answer is option B, 60 km per hour. On highways, so as not to hinder traffic, 60 km per hour is the minimum speed limit. Our next question is, you are driving on a road. There is a line of cyclists on the far right side of the road. What must you do? Our options are option A, nothing in particular. Option B, sound your horn when passing them. Option C, leave sufficient room when passing them. And our answer is option C, leave sufficient room when passing them. Under the Highway Safety Code, you must leave sufficient room when passing. Our next question is, the driver in the vehicle hears a siren and sees an ambulance coming in the rear view mirror. what must he do? And our options are option A, slow down and keep as far to the right as possible. Option B, maintain a constant speed because the emergency vehicle will pass him. Option C, apply the brake as soon as possible. And our answer is slow down and keep as far to the right as possible. The driver must make way for the emergency vehicle and do so in the safest way possible. Our next question is no driver may pass another vehicle by using the lane reserved for traffic moving in the opposite direction. Option A, alongside a bicycle path. Option B, in a 50 km/h zone. Option C, when approaching the top or at the top of a hill. And our answer is option C, when approaching the top or at the top of a hill. When approaching the top or at the top of a hill, no driver may pass another vehicle using the lane reserved for oncoming traffic. And our next question is, what are the penalties for refusing to submit to a breath test? Our options are option A, the same penalties as for a zero alcohol offence under the Highway Safety Code. Option B, the same penalties as for excessive speeding within the meaning of a Highway Safety Code. Option C, the same penalties as for a conviction for driving with a blood alcohol level in excess of 80 mg but not in excess of 160 mg. And option D is the same penalties as for a conviction for driving with a blood alcohol level in excess of 160 mg, that is the most severe penalties under the Highway Safety Code. And our answer is option D, the same penalties as for a conviction for driving with a blood alcohol level in excess of 160 mg, that is the most severe penalties under the Highway Safety Code. Refusing without a valid excuse to provide a breath or blood sample or to submit to a physical coordination test constitutes an offence under the criminal code and results in the most severe penalties, particularly those under the Highway Safety Code. And our next question is, if you are driving a vehicle equipped with airbags, must you still wear the seat belt? Option A, yes. Option B, no. And C is only on highways. Our answer is yes. Seatbelts must be worn at all times. Airbags offer increased protection in the event of a collision. Our next question is, a driver facing a red light where a right turn on red is permitted wishes to turn right. What steps must be taken to make a safe turn? Option A, stop, then look, then decide. Or B, slow down, then look and decide. Option C, look, then slow down and decide. And our answer is option A, stop, look and decide. To make a safe right turn on a red light, you must come to a full stop, look carefully left and right and then decide. Our next question is, when approaching a level crossing, you must. Our options are accelerate to cross the railway track as quickly as possible. Option B, stop only if a train is in sight. Option C, stop if the red lights are flashing. And for this question, our correct answer is stop if the red lights are flashing. The flashing red lights at a level crossing warn driver of the arrival or presence of a rail vehicle. Motorists are required to stop before reaching the crossing. Our next question is, when parking downhill by the edge of a road, How must you place the wheels of the vehicle? We have three pictures. We have to tell that in which picture car is parked in right position. And our answer is picture 1. If the parking brake or transmission should fail, the vehicle will move towards curb.